Welcome to Built by Builders. This is our video series highlighting construction professionals who have started tech companies to provide solutions for the construction industry. And what's unique is that the individuals on this series are people who have firsthand experience, having been from the industry, with the pain points for which they're solving. And we truly believe that this is the kind of experience that it's going to take to drive the industry forward in the most effective way possible. So welcome, Cameron. We have Cameron Page, the founder and CEO of Clearstory, formerly Xtracker. Cameron, you've been in the industry as senior project manager and an ENR top 50 general contractor here in the Bay Area, and firsthand have a ton of experience in operations with all the things dealing with change orders and this everything that you're solving with Clearstory. Why don't you share a little bit about the genesis story and also how you're different from other project management platforms?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the intro, Steve. For us, ClearStory is a change order communication tool that's purpose built to reduce risk for all stakeholders, not just the company who buys our software and uses it. And that's because it's a communication tool. We work with specialty contractors, general contractors, and owners. For specialty contractors, they're at the bottom of the totem pole, and change orders can represent a good chunk of their revenue, either plan changes or changes that are unforeseen. They're relying on those things to be approved in order to build for them. So it's a big cash flow opportunity for them to accelerate the time of their own surfacing them. So we give them tools to help them do that. But most importantly, tools to communicate with their GC. And for general contractors, it's really about reducing risk. We're not a replacement for whatever you're using for traditional change order management and project financials. We're a tool to help you capture that data and get it into the system of record faster. And then for owners, it's really about making value-driven decisions. How can we, knowing where your budget's at as fast as possible, gives you the ability to add value to the project before the project's over. ConCntric focuses around similar concepts, but a little bit further upstream. How are you seeing stakeholders, adopt your platform to get real-time data communication in the pre-construction side, ideally, so there's less change orders.
Yeah, hopefully we don't put you out of business, Cameron. But
Yeah.
ultimately, if you think about in pre-con, there's just a multitude of, there's a whole array of different workflows, all of which are just separate ad hoc spreadsheets. Very little is served by any form of, official software that's really built for that specific purpose. But even the broader challenge too is because you have so many workflows that just individual solutions doesn't really also solve the problem of having all of that unified. So what we see, having been extremely well received so far, is this platform approach that we've taken to say that when you go do pre-construction, we want you to come and have the benefit of one place with all of, as a single source of truth, everything centralized conveniently in one place, with the ability to integrate with any existing software that our customers use and are used to using, but at the same time, taking all of that data and structuring it and doing the things that you can't do if you're handling that data with these disconnected ad hoc solutions. What you outlined at the beginning here, just from your experience as a senior project manager, what were the things that you were encountering then that have really made you want to do and build Clearstory and its intended purpose?
Yeah, it's there's like a fundamental gap that we've identified that we're solving. When you think of traditional change order management software, it's all internal facing, right? It's where I forecast a PCO or a PCI, a potential change order, to my budget. And really what I'm trying to understand is, how is this change going to affect my bottom line, my fee on the project? But there's a bunch of other internal workflows we're doing in those systems, right? And every company that we interact with has their own system of record. And because they're private, we don't use those tools to align on what's outstanding as far as what's changed. And so we rely on tools like email correspondence, back and forth of reviewing the documents. Maybe we'll download it to Bluebeam, mark it up in order for us to understand our risk and make sure we haven't missed anything as a general contractor. We'll email our subs once a month or bi-weekly, ask for an updated change order log. And then the bane of everyone's existence is tracking extra work on T&M. And the T&M process, the extra work authorization process, in our industry exists for a reason, right? I don't want to pay a quote of 10 guys working overtime on Saturday if only 8 are going to show up and 3 of them are going to leave early. I'd rather get an estimate and then track it on T&M so I pay exactly the right amount. So there's always going to be this need for tracking things on T&M, and it's not going to go away. And as an industry, we can continue to do it on carbon copy and email and Excel spreadsheets, or we can embrace the fact that it's part of our tool set to complete a job, and we can use technology to help us enable it. And so, I mean, you did it for 26 years. Were there any particular insights or experiences that led to creating ConCntric?
Any one particular? No. The list is like dozens long, Cameron. But I mean, I just remember being in meetings with our team and our client, and just having the ability to kind of observe how all of this was going, project after project, meeting after meeting. And the one thing that I just found very frustrating was, no matter how hard and how good of a job the estimating team did, it was very hard for them to communicate the entire story about what was going on in the project, and do it in a way that the owner and the architect, the other people in the room, could kind of understand what they were saying, and visually be able to see not just what you were reporting out today, but historically, how has the whole process gone on that particular project, and relative to other examples, whether it's comps or maybe there's a third party estimate in play. I mean, it just wildly inefficient communication, was pretty ineffective, and everybody's so busy, barely able to get their tasks and their estimating work done, or any of the planning work, that to even have time to then take that data and put it in a format that is more presentable so you could help tell that story, was just going to double or triple the time spent to be ready for one individual meeting. That's how I, just came to realize that pulling all of this together is a significant step forward to having the projects and the teams be far more effective, and to have a much more predictable certainty of outcome for everybody. That's why I left and started ConCntric in the same way, in reactions to these super pain points and highly efficient things that made us just pull our hair out. What do you think of the future? Do you have anything top of mind that you see in the future for our industry?
Yeah, I mean, a couple maybe concepts to kind of tie together. I think most other industries use a lot of software. I think our industry has rightfully been reluctant to use a lot of software because they've been kind of burned in the past. And I think right now there's a big push to get everything on one platform. Of course, the challenge with that is if we all wind up on one single platform, we're not using technology to differentiate ourselves. We're using the traditional things to differentiate ourselves, which is great. People, quality, experience, things like that, which are really important. But I really believe the companies that are going to win in the future are the companies who are able to create a tech stack around the best tools that are available for them to leverage, and creating true differentiation with technology. I think a lot of more legacy solutions in our industry are sort of walled gardens and maybe don't have an open API, things like that, or frankly have deeply purpose-built integrations like what I believe we have. I think with that mindset, we can share a lot of data. I think the one that comes to mind with ConCntric is with Xtracker, we track the transactions, right? So we track every change order that's been sent to you as a general contractor, and we are beginning to automate change reason category of the change, right? And so we can tell you this one's overtime, this one's paint touch up, this one's trade damage, this one's a design change. And feeding that back into a pre-construction tool as you're building a GMP is incredibly valuable data that sadly not hardly anyone has because it's so email heavy today.
Yeah, I think you and I have made progress on that front, because if we can really tie the lessons learned, if you will, and always be learning from the past project to make the next project better off, is really just an added dimension to what Clearstory and ConCntric are both doing. And Cameron, it was awesome having you, built by builders, and I think our common backgrounds coming from within the industry, building very exciting solutions for the industry, but more from the tech perspective, I think is a strong step in the right direction, and the way it ought to be. Thanks for being on the show, Cameron.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and congrats on all the success.
Likewise, and congrats on the new name.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.